not having Chloe here.
Yeah, it is.
I think Christy's telling Chloe not to respond to us because I texted her twice,
Well,
I
no.
FaceTimed her twice, and
The team feels the impact of Chloe leaving, S5 flashback, the fallout, the tears, and the silence that said it all. When Chloe Lacasiak walked out of the ALDC for the last time at the end of Season 4, fans were devastated. But if viewers were heartbroken, the girls she left behind? They were stunned. Season 5 didn't even try to pretend everything was normal, because it wasn't. The team felt the loss immediately, and nowhere was that more obvious than in Episode 2, Abby got served. This wasn't just the aftermath of a dancer leaving. This was the unraveling of the old ALDC as we knew it. When Season 5 kicked off, Chloe's absence was more than just a missing body in the lineup. It was a missing energy, a missing friendship, a missing heart. In the pyramid scene, the infamous moment where Abby ranks her dancers, Chloe's name isn't even mentioned. No goodbye, no farewell, no tribute montage. Just silence. But the silence was deafening. The other girls glance around, uncomfortably aware of the space where Chloe used to stand. Even Maddie, Abby's golden girl, looks a little less sparkly. And Christy? She's gone too. For the first time in years, her signature eye rolls and sharp one-liners are missing from the mom loft. Instead, there's tension. Lots of it. With Chloe out of the picture, you'd think Maddie would be thriving. Finally, no more direct competition. No more back-and-forth comparisons. Just solo after solo, right? Wrong. There's a weight on Maddie's shoulders this episode that even Abby's endless praise can't lift. Chloe wasn't just her rival. She was her best friend. The two had grown up together, rehearsed side by side, shared giggles between takes and tears backstage. And now, Maddie has no one to look over at during rehearsals. No one to lock eyes with during group performances. Just empty space. You can see the guilt flicker across Maddie's face when Abby bashes Chloe, even if subtly, and then turns to her like she's the only one who matters now. There's no joy in being the best when your best friend isn't there to cheer you on. The Episode 2 group number, Victorious, is supposed to be a powerful, emotionally charged performance, and it is. But the energy is off. Abby knows it. The girls know it. The audience feels it. Why? Because Chloe's not on that stage. For years, Chloe brought a lyrical grace to the team's numbers that balanced out the fierceness of the others. Her style was ethereal, fluid, soft yet strong, a perfect contrast to the sharper edges of Maddie or Kalani. Without her, the dynamic feels lopsided. The choreography looks just a little less balanced. It's like painting with one color missing from the palette. Even Abby, who spent years undercutting Chloe, seems to know something's not quite right. But instead of acknowledging it, she doubles down on controlling what's left of her team. She critiques everyone with extra bite, pushes harder, and turns the volume up on her favoritism. Maybe if she acts like nothing's missing, no one will notice. But everyone notices. In the mom loft, the ripple effects of Chloe's exit are just as intense. Christy's departure left a void that no one could fill, especially not newcomer Jesselyn, JoJo's mom, who is not blending in. With Christy gone, Melissa is now the default queen bee, and the tension is palpable. Holly and Jill, usually content to ride the wave of chaos, now find themselves questioning everything. If Abby could treat Chloe, one of the most hardworking, drama-free dancers, so poorly, what's stopping her from turning on their kids next? There's a sudden shift in loyalty. The once unified front starts to crumble. The moms are wary, watching their backs, questioning their decisions. Christy might be gone, but her warning shots are still ringing in their ears. And just when things couldn't get more intense, Abby gets served. Yes, in the middle of rehearsal, a process server hands Abby legal documents, and the entire room freezes. It's the moment that takes Abby got served from dramatic to explosive. Though the show doesn't outright confirm it, fans quickly piece together the real tea. This was likely related to legal action involving Chloe and Christy. After years of alleged verbal abuse, mocking of medical conditions, and relentless favoritism, Christy had had enough. This was no ordinary exit. Chloe didn't just walk away. She walked away with receipts. The legal drama sends shockwaves through the team. Abby storms out. The moms speculate. The girls are left to wonder if the adults will ever get it together. And all of it traces back to Chloe's decision to finally say enough is enough. One of the most underrated storylines in this episode? Nia. Nia and Chloe were close. Not just in rehearsals, but in those backstage moments the cameras only sometimes caught. Chloe always made space for Nia, encouraged her, lifted her up when Abby tore her down. Without Chloe, Nia's support system is gone. And it shows. Nia doesn't get the spotlight this week, but if you look closely, her expressions say everything. She's sad. She's confused. She's watching her team fracture, and she's realizing that loyalty doesn't mean much when Abby's the one in charge. This is the beginning of Holly's slow burn rebellion. But in this moment, it's just pain. Abby's reaction to Chloe's departure is icy, calculated, and petty, in true Abby fashion. Instead of acknowledging her contribution to the team, she acts like Chloe never mattered. She rewrites history, portraying Chloe as a quitter and Christy as the root of all drama. It's a move meant to protect Abby's ego, but fans aren't buying it. Social media exploded after this episode aired. Hashtag Justice for Chloe trended. Edits circulated showing Chloe's best performances. Fans flooded comment sections with support. Abby might have tried to erase Chloe from the narrative, but the fandom made sure she stayed front and center. While the show kept it vague, the real story behind Chloe's exit would come out later, and it was infuriating. In a YouTube video years after leaving Dance Moms, Chloe revealed that Abby had allegedly mocked her medical condition, silent sinus syndrome, which affected the appearance of her eye. The moment was never shown on TV, but it was reportedly the final straw for Christy. After enduring years of psychological warfare, she wasn't going to let her daughter be humiliated anymore. Suddenly, Chloe's quiet exit made perfect sense. It wasn't drama. It wasn't quitting. It was survival. As Season 5 continues, the ALDC brings in new dancers, new moms, and new rivalries. But Chloe's absence lingers. Her memory hangs in the studio like a ghost. No one ever quite replaces her, because no one can. She was more than just a dancer. She was the emotional core of the group, the one who kept things grounded when Abby lost control. Without her, the team felt colder, harsher, more fractured. Chloe might have left the show, but she never really left the hearts of the girls, or the fans. As the weeks roll on in Season 5, Chloe's name might not be spoken aloud, but she haunts every rehearsal like a ghost. You can see it in the way the girls glance at the wings before a performance, as if half expecting her to step out in one of her signature lyrical costumes. You can hear it in the stifled laughter backstage, the kind that once flowed freely when Chloe cracked jokes or did silly impressions. Her absence is a void no amount of sparkly costumes or shiny trophies can fill. And Abby? Abby pretends nothing's wrong, but her choreography says otherwise. There's a sharpness to the dances now, a darkness. The lyrical softness that Chloe brought to the group numbers is missing, and Abby starts leaning heavily into jazz, acro, and contemporary routines that feel harsher, more competitive. It's almost like she's overcorrecting, trying to prove that the team is better without Chloe. But the more she tries to erase Chloe from the picture, the more obvious it becomes how much she mattered. Enter Kalani Hilliker. Abby doesn't waste time. With Chloe gone, she needs a new lyrical queen, and Kalani is more than up for the challenge. She's technically gifted, composed, and unbothered by drama, the perfect candidate to slide into Chloe's old roles. But here's the thing, Kalani isn't Chloe. She's incredible, yes, but she dances differently. Where Chloe was all emotion and vulnerability, Kalani is precision and elegance. It's apples and oranges. The team struggles with the transition. The dynamic shifts. The friendships shift. Even the moms shift. Kira, Kalani's mom, becomes a more prominent figure in the group, and though she's not nearly as outspoken as Christy, the power balance among the moms has changed forever. Abby sees Kalani as the future, but the rest of the girls still remember the past. One of the most affected by Chloe's departure? Kendall. With Chloe gone, Abby's expectations for Kendall skyrocket. She starts getting more opportunities, more solos, but also more criticism. Abby expects perfection, and when Kendall doesn't deliver, the claws come out. Without Chloe to take some of the pressure off, Kendall becomes Abby's new verbal punching bag. And it shows. Her confidence dips. Her performances get shaky. She's constantly trying to prove herself, but never quite feels good enough. Jill, her mom, starts spiraling too. More paranoid, more defensive, more aggressive in the mom loft. You can see the wheels turning in Kendall's head. Would Chloe have nailed this solo? Would Abby be yelling like this if Chloe was still here? And honestly, she might be right. As the ALDC tries to move on from Chloe, a new wild card enters the studio. JoJo Siwa. She's loud. She's flashy. She's got a bow the size of a small animal. And she's ready to perform. But JoJo's entrance only highlights the awkwardness of Chloe's absence. Where Chloe was understated and soft-spoken, JoJo is full volume and full glitter. She's not trying to replace Chloe. She's trying to redefine what an ALDC girl even is. And that, predictably, does not sit well with Abby. JoJo's first few episodes are chaotic. Abby critiques her outfits, questions her talent, and practically throws up a "You'll never be Chloe" banner. But JoJo, in her trademark fashion, doesn't care. She shows up, shows out, and makes it clear that she's here to stay. In a way, JoJo's presence starts healing something in the group. Not because she fills the Chloe-shaped hole, but because she refuses to be anything other than herself. Even though she's gone, Christy Lacasiak's presence still looms large over the mom loft. The other moms reference her in hushed tones, especially when Abby crosses a line. Christy wouldn't have stood for that. If Christy were here, remember when Abby screamed at Chloe in front of the judges? Christy had been the de facto voice of resistance for years, the one who dared to challenge Abby when no one else would. Now that she's gone, the group feels leaderless. Melissa is too deep in Abby's pocket to question anything. Jill is too focused on Kendall's ranking. Holly wants to speak up, but even she seems lost without her partner in protest. It's like losing Chloe meant losing Christy's courage too. When this episode aired, the internet exploded. Tumblr was flooded with GIFs of Chloe's most iconic solos. YouTube was packed with fan-made edits, some angry, some emotional, all heart-wrenching. Twitter dragged Abby for how cold she was in the face of Chloe's exit. Instagram comment sections on every official Dance Moms post were filled with "Bring Chloe back" and "It's not the same without her." For many fans, Chloe was the show. Her journey from timid dancer to lyrical powerhouse had been one of the most compelling arcs of the series. Watching her disappear with zero acknowledgement felt like a betrayal, not just to Chloe, but to everyone who rooted for her. And Chloe? She stayed quiet for a long time. Graceful. Classy. Letting her fans speak for her, until she was ready to speak for herself. Behind the scenes, things were messy. Producers reportedly knew Chloe was leaving at the end of season 4, but kept the drama under wraps to preserve the storyline. Abby, allegedly furious at Christy's legal action and public interviews, instructed the other moms not to mention Chloe on camera. The goal? Make her disappear. Erase her from the ALDC history books. But reality TV doesn't work that way. You can't fake chemistry. You can't fake heartbreak. The girls were hurting, and no amount of re-editing could cover it up. There are whispers that several of the girls considered quitting after Chloe left, especially Nia and Kendall. Christy remained in contact with several moms, despite the show's attempts to isolate her. And Chloe? She was quietly recovering, mentally, emotionally, and physically, out of the spotlight, away from Abby, healing from years of subtle and not-so-subtle mistreatment. With Chloe gone, Abby needs a new rivalry to anchor the drama. And who better than Kalani versus Maddie? Both are technically stunning. Both are Abby's favorites. But their styles and their fan bases couldn't be more different. Maddie is the golden child, the prodigy groomed for greatness. Kalani is the newcomer with maturity and poise beyond her years. Abby starts placing them in back-to-back solos. The moms start comparing. The fans start picking sides. It's all orchestrated to distract from the truth. Abby is still reeling from losing Chloe. She doesn't want anyone to notice that the team feels off balance. that the group numbers aren't winning as often, that the spark is fading. So she throws gasoline on a new fire. But even at its peak, the Maddie versus Kalani rivalry never quite matches the emotional depth of Maddie versus Chloe. Because Chloe didn't just challenge Maddie's skill, she challenged Abby's narrative. And that's what made her dangerous.